Right now, inside your body, your cells are breaking themselves down, and that might be one of the most important things keeping you alive. This process is called autophagy. Most people have never heard of it, but in 2016, Dr. Osumi won the Nobel Prize for uncovering how it works. And when the system starts to fail, it's been linked to diseases like Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. Here's the part that matters. You can actually influence this process through habits you do every single day. Stay until the end because there's a widely used medication that may activate the same system, and most people have no idea. I'm Dr. Julia Peterson, a PhD trained biomedical scientist, and I go through hundreds of peer-reviewed research papers every month to bring you the insights that actually matter for your health. If you want to go deeper into the science on autophagy, click the link above. Other than that, let's get into our 5 habits. Habit number 1, protect your sleep. Up to 98% of people with Parkinson's disease will experience sleep problems at some point. We're talking about insomnia, excessive daytime sleepiness called hypersomnia, and a condition called REM sleep behavioral disorder, where people physically act out their dreams. But here's where it gets serious. The relationship goes both ways. Brain diseases can disrupt sleep, but poor sleep may also speed up brain degeneration. Why? Because poor quality sleep disrupts protein clearance and increases oxidative stress. When the circadian rhythm is disrupted, in otherwise healthy adults, it raises the risk of conditions like Alzheimer's disease. In fact, in one striking finding, over 90% of people diagnosed with a REM sleep behavioral disorder go on to develop a neurodegenerative disease within about 14 years, with many cases appearing much sooner. How can you implement this habit into your daily life? Consistent sleep schedules, avoiding caffeine and alcohol at night, and keeping your bed just for sleep all makes a difference. Conditions like sleep apnea should also be treated to restore proper breathing during sleep. Because untreated sleep problems don't just affect the progression of neurodegenerative diseases, they're a major risk factor for high blood pressure and heart disease. Habit number 2, optimize your daily light. Research shows autophagy follows your body's internal clock, also called your circadian rhythm, with distinct rhythms in different tissues. One of the biggest drivers affecting that clock, light. Too little light during the day or too much artificial light at night can disrupt your internal clock. And this isn't rare. In fact, most people today are exposed to significant light pollution. And this disruption of your internal clock by light or other factors increases the risk of neurodegenerative diseases. How can you implement this habit into your daily life? Get more bright light during the day, ideally from natural sunlight. If that's not possible, use indoor lighting that mimics daylight. Then flip it at night. About 3 hours before bedtime, start dimming the lights and reducing screen exposure. And when you sleep, make your room as dark as possible. It sounds simple, but the simple light-dark pattern is one of the strongest science-backed ways to support your circadian rhythm. There's also emerging evidence that specific types of light therapy, like blue-enriched morning light, may support cognitive function and reduce inflammation in the brain of Alzheimer's patients. And bright light therapy during the day has been shown to improve sleep, boost daytime alertness, and even enhance physical activity levels in people with Parkinson's disease. That's why circadian-based therapies like light therapy are increasingly being used in the management of certain neurodegenerative diseases. The bigger picture, your circadian rhythm is built into nearly every cell in your body, regulating metabolism, immunity, and brain function. And something as simple as when you see light each day is shaping it. Habit number 3, try intermittent fasting or caloric restriction. New research is revealing something surprising. When you eat may matter just as much as what you eat. Intermittent fasting and caloric restriction are 2 of the most studied ways to activate autophagy. In human studies, these approaches have been linked to increased activity of autophagy-related genes and improvements in metabolic health. But here's where it gets really interesting. In animal studies, scientists found that a specific eating pattern called intermittent time-restricted feeding didn't just improve health, it extended lifespan. And the timing was critical. The biggest benefits were linked to a surge in autophagy during the night, showing that your internal clock and autophagy plays a major role in how this system works. In this study, flies followed a 20-hour fast that began about 6 hours after lights were turned on, followed by a 28-hour period of normal eating. And this isn't just in animals. In a human study, obese people followed an intermittent time-restricted feeding schedule, showed increased autophagy activity after several months compared to a controlled group. So how can you implement this habit into your daily life? A more sustainable, personalized approach works best. So it's a good idea to talk with your doctor and find a plan that fits your health, lifestyle, and goals. Habit number 4, exercise regularly. Move your body with intention most days of the week, especially with moderate to vigorous intensity. During physical activity, key proteins inside your cells physically separate, and that separation acts as a molecular switch that turns autophagy on. Autophagy may actually be one of the main reasons exercise is so beneficial in the first place. So how can you implement this habit into your daily life? You don't need to run a marathon to see real benefits. Even something as simple as a 10-minute walk after dinner is a great place to start. For reference, the Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans recommend about 150 minutes of moderate activity like brisk walking, or 75 minutes of more intense exercise like running per week. Personally, I aim for a 30-minute brisk walk most days and a 30-minute run once a week. But the best routine is the one you can actually stick to. Habit 5, eat more polyphenol-rich foods. Add green tea, turmeric, extra virgin olive oil, and colorful plant foods to your regular diet. Certain compounds found in these foods have been shown to activate autophagy. Dietary patterns that emphasize these foods, like the Mediterranean Mind and DASH diets, are consistently associated with a lower risk of Alzheimer's disease, and autophagy may be one of the key mechanisms behind that link. So how can you implement this habit into daily life? Use extra virgin olive oil as your primary cooking fat. Add turmeric to soups, eggs, or smoothies. These aren't superfoods in a gimmicky sense. They contain compounds with documented effects at the cellular level. Now, here's what I didn't expect to be talking about in a video on daily habits, but the research made it impossible to ignore. There's a common medication originally developed to treat type 2 diabetes that appears to activate autophagy through some of the same exact pathways as calorie restriction and intense exercise. It's called metformin. Researchers are now studying it not just for blood sugar, but for aging itself. And right now, metformin is at the center of a major clinical trial called the Targeting Aging with Metformin trial, designed to treat whether we can treat aging. Autophagy isn't some theoretical lab concept. It's running inside virtually every cell in your body, and the science is clear. Sleep, circadian consistency, fasting, movement, and food all directly shape how well the system works. Your cells are always adapting to the environment you create. The real question is, what kind of signals are you giving them each day? If this changed how you think about aging, subscribe and check out the next video where we go even deeper. And tell me in the comments which of these habits are you already doing.